Konnichiwa everybody, welcome back. Well, another 12 months has gone by, 2024. So, as has become a bit of a tradition on the channel, I've decided to do another game room tour. Purely from the point of view that I like doing these for my own sort of benefit, so I can look back on how the room's changed from year to year. Because no matter how often I think, well, there's nothing else I can do in here. I've got it how I want it. There's always little changes you keep making. You think to yourself, why didn't I do that before? Or, that might be better if I do this or that. So consequently, having watched my previous year's game room tour video recently, I have made quite a few changes this past 12 months. So I thought, keep the tradition going, and I'll film another game room tour, and I can then look back at it myself in another 12 months time to see what changes I make in this upcoming year. And I know quite a few people like a game room tour, so hopefully you'll enjoy this one. Please let me know in the comments what you think. It'd be great to hear from you. Give us a like if you can, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. But anyway, here comes the game room tour 2024. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching. Welcome back to the 2024 game room tour, everyone. So, things have changed a fair bit. Starting off here with the mighty virtual stick for the Sega Saturn. Awesome bit of kit. I do have plans for this. I'm contemplating building a sort of tabletop version of an Astro City based on this stick, but it's still in the development stages in my brain at the moment, so that may develop this year. We've then got just a random mushroom sitting atop a PAL PS2 silver fat on a vertical stand. And then obviously this is a fairly old LCD screen, Panasonic Viera, awesome TV. I've ended up buying a few of these because I like them so much. I've got a brilliant speaker on them. Anybody been following the arcade room project? I've bought a few of these for that room. And then underneath that we've got the Tower of Power, which is my American Genesis 2, Sega CD2 and Genesis 32X, all original stock American consoles. I've had the Genesis and the 32X from new. I did have a new Sega CD2 at the time, but I sold that and then rebought another one in later years. I'm not a fan of the Sega CD. Very rarely use it, but it's just, I thought about selling it, but I don't know. Every time I think about it, I think no, I'll keep it. Now in this area, I have changed this from the last video, the last room tour 12 months ago, because I did have a TATE set up here on this right hand side, but since I put another TATE set up somewhere else, I didn't use this, so I decided to change it, and I put my VHS player and Sony widescreen TV unit in here, and it's been really good actually, because I like to put a VHS on in the background, and this location works so much better for me than where I've got it before. Got a few loose VHS underneath. I swapped them around. I've got like a box full of them, but swap them round as and when, whichever films I fancy watching. Then I've got the old Vectrex collection on the bottom shelf underneath the Tower of Power, and also a few VHS as well. Yeah, I don't see myself adding to my Vectrex collection, but it's nice to have it there. And then, standing back up, we then move across to the magnificent Dreamcast arcade stick, in beautiful condition, that one. Underneath that we've got the Panasonic 3DO, my original American model, so superior to the PAL version. PAL version's got horrendous borders, oh, it's just so bad. The American one's so much better. Great console, the 3DO. You know, lost in time a bit really, but a great console for some games. Some games have aged badly, obviously. The next to that we've got my Japanese Wii U. Not a system I use very much, to be honest. I wouldn't say I regret buying it, but I certainly don't use it very often. Battery keeps packing up in the tablet because I don't use it. I did sort of use it more for Japanese Wii games, but I don't do that now either, really, for reasons we'll come on to in a minute. So I've only got a few Japanese exclusive Wii U games. It's nice to have it. Quite like it to look at. Bit unusual, isn't it, the Wii U? Then below that we've got my American PS3. Got this a while back, not that long ago. Got it cheap, primarily because I had an American PS1 which was very temperamental, and I just wanted this for the backwards compatibility, because obviously you don't need it on the PS3 because it's universal. But this is an early model, as you can see, with the 4 USB ports, so it'll play all American PS2 and 1 games, which is all I use it for, to be honest. Then we've got the Evercade Versus next to that. Great little console, much maligned, the Evercade. It's a bit of a Marmite job, isn't it? But I personally think it's great for the money. I haven't used it much this year, to be fair, but you can't go wrong with the value of the carts. Underneath that we've got my RGB modded N64 with EverDrive. I did have a big N64 collection when I got this RGB modded one, but I've subsequently sold it all off and I've just got the EverDrive now. Then next to that we've got the gorgeous Spice Orange GameCube, one of my favourite looking consoles ever. Pure Japanese, that one. And then next to that we've got the original Indigo Japanese GameCube I've had from new. That has been modified with a switch to enable it to play Japanese and American discs. Then underneath that we've got my PC Engine Duo R. Again, I think I've said before, it's not the cleanest example, but it works, and until it stops working it'll do me fine. And then next to that we've got a PAL Dreamcast in lovely condition, beautifully white. It has got the power supply intermittent cutting out problem at times, so it does need a bit of TLC. At some point I'll get to it, but I don't use the console very often really, because I just use the Japanese one, to be honest. Then underneath there we've got my 2600 Plus, which is a fairly recent edition. I've never been into the 2600, to be honest. I've tried over recent years, and you know, aside from the odd game, it's never impressed me. Partly because the screen picture quality is so bad with RF. When this got released I thought, well, it might be better with the HDMI, because at least you're going to get a nice connection and picture, and you do, and I have been impressed with it. I'm pleased I bought it. So now I'm just going to acquire maybe, not many, just a handful of games, maybe 10, 20 at the most, just the classics. Certainly now, I'm certainly not going overboard, because it's, you know, I haven't got the nostalgia for it really, aside from seeing the home conversions of arcade games, and that's all I'm going to buy. I've bought one or two, but over the next 12 months I'll probably buy one or two more. Like I say, I don't want any more than a dozen or so. Then next to that we've got my white Japanese Sega Saturn. Well, it's not quite as white as it should be, but it's not too bad. I did modify this year with a Fenrir, so that's got all the games installed on it really. Great versatile system. I did have that set up to that TATE monitor that I've exchanged for my VHS setup. So if I build this sort of desktop Astro City, I'm going to be using this console for that, along with my Astro City stick. So that may not stop there, because that may end up, like I say, being the guts of my Astro City tabletop arcade build. We'll see. That's kind of thought in progress. Right, then moving across, we've got my step down transformers at the bottom. Lots of wires, don't look markers. Then we've got, this is my USA PS1 console. This is the temperamental one. Ironically, it has worked alright since I've bought that PS3, but I'm sure it'll start playing up again at some point. So it's nice to have a backup, but I do like the design of the original PS1. I think it's an iconic, nice looking console. Next to that we've got my American Super Nintendo. Love it or loathe it, it's certainly not a looker, but it is a powerhouse and an amazing console. Just, well, it's one of the best consoles ever made, isn't it? And the American version, just, you know, I don't know what they were thinking with the design, but it's certainly unique. But I've had it from brand new. You know, like I say, one of the best consoles ever made. Absolutely love it. Then, working our way up now, we've got the Atari Jaguar. Another great looking console for me. Love how it looks. I know there's not many great games for it, but there are some you know, stellar ones. Raiden's inserted, as you can see. Absolutely love the game. Great on the Jag. That's an American console. I think the only PAL console I've got actually is the PAL Dreamcast. Oh no, we've got that first PAL PS2's PAL. Right, next up we've got another Saturn. This time we've got a high Saturn, which is the Hitachi version. As you can see, it's kind of a dark grey over a black. Quite a nice console. I don't know if I bought this year or last year, but anyway, I was trying to collect Saturn console variants really. I still need the Derby Stallion one. Don't know if I'll ever buy one, but the unique factor about the high Saturn is that it comes with a video CD card, so you can play video CDs as well. Obviously a long dead format, but it's nice to have. And I did buy a couple of video CDs just for the ability to try it and experience it again, because I used to have a few of them when I first had the CDI back in the day. So it's nice to have the high Saturn. Right, then coming up, we've got the beast that is the Japanese Dreamcast. Again, my original from launch in Japan. Still in beautiful condition, lovely and white. Again, one of the best consoles ever made for me. And then next to that we've got my Sega Genesis Mark 1. Not as nice as the Japanese system in my opinion, but I just used it. I've got a nice Japanese one boxed up, but I just used this one because it's really versatile. The card slot's been extended, you know, modified, so it'll take the Japanese cards, so it'll more or less play anything, and it does everything I need it to. And this is my Mega Drive sort of go-to, generally speaking, because I don't turn on the Tower of Power very often and faff about with, you know, changing the cart out of the 32X. I just use this one to play Mega Drive games. I just tend to use the Tower of Power if I want to play 32X or Mega CD games. Right, and then we come up to the top shelf, which is where you find the porn. In this case, we've got the Neo Geo AES, the mighty Neo Geo AES. Arguably the greatest home console ever. At the time, it was literally playing the arcade game in your house when it was unheard of. Absolutely stellar console. I never thought I'd buy another one, so I'm absolutely chuffed to have one back. And as you can see, I've built up a collection of a few games, nothing groundbreaking in terms of cost. I've stuck purely to the cheaper end of the scale, and I'd like to add 3 or 4 more if possible, but you know, with the prices it's highly unlikely. I just keep my eyes open, and should a decent deal crop up, I'd jump on it, but I'm happy with the ones I've got. I've got the sort of multi-cart, which serves most purposes. Like I say, there are 3 or 4 original carts I would still like, and I hope to add them at some point. Right, we've then got a bendy bully, can't beat a bit of bully. Then we've got my original PAL Wii console, and then I've not long ago bought a Japanese Wii console as well, which has now made the Wii U even more redundant because I play all Japanese Wii games in this. And you can use all the same leads to power the PAL console to power the Japanese one, so it's dead easy. So I was really chuffed with that. I think I had a bargain with that because I bought it as untested or faulty or something. There was some peculiarity with the listing, and I think it was only a tenner with all the leads and everything, and it works like a charm, so absolute bargain. Right, moving across, we've got my main CRT, which is a Sony 25-inch, playing the amazing Sega Rally on the PS2, which is the definitive version. It's as good as playing the arcade. It's an absolute stunner. We've got my neon control pad light. Then we've got a JVC speaker, which is running the sound off this TV, connected to an amp as well. Connected to a sub, so it sounds really awesome when you pump it up. Then at the side of this TV, we've got a Retron HD, which plays basically any Nintendo NES game. Currently got RC Pro Am 2 in. What a game. Then underneath that, we've got my Japanese original PS2 console, which, as I say, is playing Sega Rally. And then next to that, we've got my original Xbox console, totally unmodified, original from launch, which is awesome for playing stuff like Outrun 2. So that's, like I say, that's my CRT setup really, and all these consoles are connected to the CRT by a massive like SCART switch box. So all these consoles can be played on this CRT. Then up above here we've got part of the SNES collection. If you've been following the pickups videos, you'll be pretty probably be aware I'm trying to upgrade from cart only to boxed. These are some of my cart only which I've got in universal game cases. The SNES collection is kind of spread out in different areas really. And then this is my current TATE setup, which I now use, which enabled me to get rid of that other one. We've got an 8-bit DOE arcade stick there. Underneath that we've got a Japanese PS2 Slim in silver. So again, this is what's connected to the TATE setup, so I can play either Japanese PS1 and 2 games on it, and then I've also got my V Saturn set up to it, which is obviously another Saturn variant by JVC. So I can play all the Saturn shooters in TATE if I want to on the setup there. And then at the bottom we've got the RGH modded Xbox 360, so again I can play all the amazing Japanese 360 shooters via that console on the TATE setup. And I also have at the back, probably can't see it, there is a switch dock as well, so I can put the switch on there as well. So in that TATE setup I can either run Xbox 360, Saturn, PS1 and 2 or Switch, which is all you need really, to be fair. And then at the side of that unit we've got more sort of cart only NES and SNES games piled up in universal game cases. And like I say, I'm slowly trying to work through these and reacquire them boxed on the Super Famicom if possible, but you know, it's a slow process. I'm in no rush. We've got a little Mario plushie there, and then that's the 360 controller for that console there. And then moving across we've got my PS4, which is a Metal Gear Solid special edition. And then we've got underneath there we've got the PS4 controller, and also I think that's a Power A sort of Saturn style 6-button control pad for the PS4, which is amazing for the fighters, makes such a difference. We've obviously got an external hard drive with the PS4 as well. And then to the left of that we've got the Cyberpunk Xbox One console, which is quite a recent addition. I'm not crazy about special edition consoles in general, but something about that one really jumped out at me. I think it's an awesome looking thing, and it's such a nicely designed thing when you've got it in your hands. You know, you feel all the textures on the console, and it's really nice. Above that we've got my V2 Elite console, and again I'm using these Power A Xbox controllers for the V2 Elite, and again it's transformed. It's so much better than the included controllers. You know, the ones that come with it are pretty crap, to be fair, but these Xbox Power A ones, absolutely brilliant for the money in my opinion. Then above that we've got my PAL Wii U console, tablet at the side there. Then above that we've got my American Wii, so that then allows me to play in a USA exclusive Wii game. We've then got a Coin-Ops modded Xbox, which is amazing for playing thousands of old arcade games. Love that console, brilliant. If you're into your old arcade stuff, you need a Coin-Ops Xbox. Then we've got my 3D Blu-ray player, and then we've got the TV, which all these consoles are connected up to. Currently we've got on Dynamite Cop on the Dreamcast, which is actually running on the V2 Elite console. So yeah, all these are connected up to this TV, and I can actually use the RGH Xbox on both TVs, you know, depending on what style of game I'm playing. You know, if it's a regular game, I can play it on this TV, whereas if it's a vertical shooter, I can play it on the TATE screen. And then coming around the corner, we've got the switch in its dock, again connected up to the main TV. We've got a standard Xbox 360, which is a bit temperamental. I certainly wouldn't buy another one of that model. I'd get the sort of I'd get another sort of slim console like that. And then we've got my original PS3 fat console, original UK version from when it was released. I've said before, this is the console generation that I really fell out of love with gaming with, really. You know, far too many gritty, realistic games. You know, loads of installing and updating, and it really turned me off gaming. In recent times I have, you know, because I didn't buy much for these consoles when they came out, I have now realised that there are actually some decent games on them, and it's been good to sort of reacquaint myself with both of these really, and find an experience like the retro style games that did come out for it, which I didn't get at the time. Right, then stepping back, we've got the wall of games. Which is a bit of a mixture of everything. There's no real set form to it, but I really love this, because I never used to have games on display. You know, I used to just keep them in storage boxes, and I really hated that. Since I've sort of built this storage wall, if you like, it's transformed my sort of outlook, and it's really allowed me to experience the games a lot better, and it's also made me get rid of stuff, because I don't want stuff put away in boxes if I haven't got room for it on the shelf. You know, I've just decided to get rid of it, and whatever I haven't got room for, it can just go. And I only want sort of to buy and keep what I can put on the shelf, have easy access to and enjoy. Anything else can go, and fund what I actually do want, which is what I've done for the past 12-18 months really, and probably will do a bit more of going forwards, but I've mostly got rid of everything now. But anyway, we've got at the top the Super Famicom, or part of the Super Famicom collection. I do keep all those in box protectors. Then we've got kind of little sections of other stuff. We've got a boxed Famicom section, which is very small because I haven't got very many. I only buy them cart only. And then we've got my PC Engine CD games. And then we've got the Japanese Mega Drive collection on the next two shelves. Probably one of my favourite collections. And then we've got Neo Geo CD games and American PS1 games. A couple of the new Game & Watches. And then we've got more American and then mainly Japanese PS1. And then that leads into my Japanese PS2 collection along that shelf. And then we've got a few more Super Famicom titles and American SNES titles. That then leads into my Japanese Xbox 360 collection, which is predominantly shooters. We've then got a few Xbox One games, and then we've got the Jaguar collection, and then we've got the burgeoning 2600 collection, which has started since I got the 2600 plus. And then coming down further, we've got there's the little video CD box set I bought of the original 3 James Bond films. Then we've got my Saturn collection, a few American, mainly Japanese. Again, one of my favourite collections. Love the Saturn. And then again, another one of my favourite collections, we've got the Dreamcast. We've got a few PAL games, but then the majority are Japanese. Again, one of my favourite ever consoles. So chuffed to have all that on display now. And that's my wall of entertainment, you might say. Right, so from there, now this is a new area that I've done this year. So sort of at the, as you can see, at the side of the game wall and behind the sofa, I decided to make myself a shrine to my favourite ever game, which obviously most of you all know is Outrun. And so I made a shelf of all my Outrun variants and paraphernalia, and I just love looking at it. It's one of my favourite things. Magnificent sign there, a gift off the wonderful Retro Ed. And we've got the Tiger handheld, various versions, home computer ports, console ports, and we've got soundtrack CDs. Another great gift of Shaun Retro Games Revived is the Commodore cartridge version. And I've got a mock-up version of the 3DS box if they'd ever released it physical. Got the Mark III version. Again, a mock-up of the Switch box had they ever put it out physically. And then we've got the Sega Ages PS2 port. And then at the side of the sofa there, this is another thing I've done in the past 12 months. Made another shelf for the Switch collection and also the Wii U collection, and then some select Wii games. I do still have Wii games in storage as well, because I've got a fairly substantial Wii collection, but I've just basically kept here the best games that I might want to play. And we've also got Japanese and American games there, and then the bottom row is all PAL games. There's all the light gun shooters, and then there's some other sort of platform games, and there's a few puzzle games and shooters, bit of a mixture of everything, but just quality games. There are loads of quality games on the Wii. It's a much maligned console, but there are some amazing games on it. Some of them really cheap as well, and there are some expensive, and they're going to get more expensive in my opinion when people realise what a great console the Wii was. That's all what's left of the Wii U collection. I obviously did have a full set, but I decided to get rid of it all to pay for other stuff I've wanted to buy, and I've just left myself with that. That's my entire collection now, and it was great to collect, but to be honest, I feel much better now. I've just left myself with that. And then, like I say, we've got the Switch collection on the top. I don't like getting out of hand with the Switch collection. I do tend to keep getting rid of these after if I've bought some and I'm not that keen, I'll move them on, and I don't want to go overboard with it. I don't like the boxes, if I'm honest. It's just bland redness. I don't do anything for me, but I mean it's a great console obviously, but I'm going to keep it selective with my collection on that. Right, moving across, we've got my game soundtrack collection, and then we've got the Japanese Get Bass. Then we've got an original Famicom console, purely for display because it don't work. I said it didn't work last year and I've done nothing about it. I might do nothing about it this year, but at some point I might get it modified and fixed. But it's nice to look at and it's in nice condition, so I just leave it there. We've then got a box full of sort of a drawer unit full of controllers. Oh, that, and then we've got a box set of Outrun soundtracks. We've got the magnificent Raiden on the FM Towns Martin. So this is my second shrine to my fairly new sort of favourite game, which is Raiden. Absolutely love it. Since I got into shooters, this is my favourite one. So I decided to make myself a Raiden shrine as well, after I did the Outrun one. And we've got, as I say, the FM Towns version. We've got the Mega Drive, Jaguar, Super Famicom, PC Engine CD, PC Engine Hue card, PS1 and PS1 again. Then we've got 2 soundtracks, and then we've got Raiden 2, PS2, great game, Japanese, PS2. Raiden 4 on the Xbox 360, again great game. Even better though, Raiden Fighters, what a game. Then we've got the updated Raiden 3 and 4 on the Switch, and then we've got the special edition 3 and 4 PS4 versions, and then we've got the total turd, which is Raiden 5. A blight on the Raiden name in my opinion. Right, then on this wall we've got boxes of loose Famicom carts. Love collecting for the Famicom. I'm getting a bit short on space, I need another box. But I just love the coloured carts. And then, as you can see on this wall underneath the Raiden shrine, we've got some more shelving units now. And this is where the PS4 collection lives. And these are, you can't see really, but these are double stacked. So I can actually get access to the rear of these from the rear of the shelves if I want to. But we've got PS4, as you can see. That then leads into PS3. Again, double stacked. PS2. There are some PS1 behind there as well. And we've got Xbox and Xbox 360. Again, I just put the best titles that I'm interested in at the front, and the ones I'm least bothered about at the back. Again, they are double stacked. And then we've got N64, Japanese, and then we've got Japanese GameCube, and then American GameCube and a few PAL GameCube. Again, double stacked, with access from the back should I need to look at what else I've got. And then on top of there, this is another fairly new collection. I've got a bit fascinated with these My Arcade cab replicas. So I've built up a decent collection of these now. I'm not going for a full set, I'm just buying ones I see for reasonable prices, because they're not worth the retail price in my opinion. If I see them under 20 quid, I'll tend to, you know, I'll buy them if they're less than 20 quid. Any more than that, I don't think they're worth it. There's probably another half a dozen or so that I haven't got. But we've got Rolling Thunder. Some are nicer than others. The Mappy one in particular, I think, is an absolute beauty. They all work great, to be fair. Although the screen's small, the controls work well, and you can play with the games fine. But then, like I say, we've got Karate Champ, which is it's a bit boring, that one, I think. Then we've got Galaxian, which is nice, but obviously the shape of the cab prevents the artwork from being in the right place, so that's kind of annoying. Heavy Barrel I think is another nice one, and that's a good game as well. I really like that. And then we've got Bad Dudes, which again is not too bad. Burger Time, which again is that's another beauty, I think. Absolutely love that one. Then we've got Galaga, which suffers the same issue as the Galaxian, but it's a nice thing. And then we've got Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Now this is a larger scale unit. Don't think these have been out long. And that's 60 quid in game, because I looked at them, and then I saw this one on eBay for less than half the price, and nobody bid on it, so I won it for less than half the retail. I'm so pleased I didn't buy retail price, because although it's a nice looking thing and it's a nice display piece, the stick is an absolute joke. It's unplayable. It's honestly, don't waste your money on one of these unless it's cheap, because the control joystick is diabolical. It really ruins the whole cab. So beyond a display piece, it's useless, to be honest. But I do like the aesthetic of them all lined up, and if I can add a few more I will. Right, that then, we're nearly at the end. That brings us around the corner. This is kind of 8-bit corner. Well, it started off as 8-bit corner, really. We've then got, this is kind of a tabletop area as well, and also this houses my Spectrum collection. Much like all my other collections, I've really very recently been looking through the Spectrum collection, and it was getting out of hand and storage was a problem, so I've decided to move on a lot of the Spectrum collection, and I'm just keeping the stuff I had as a child, what I've got nostalgia for. All the other stuff's going. I'm currently working through it, and going to start getting rid of it in the new year, and I'm just keeping this, what I've got on my shelf now. It's really nice to have stuff I'm nostalgic for, and it really works out well for me just to have that stuff that I had or played back in the day, and I'm chuffed with that, and that's what I'm just going to stick with on the Specky in the future. We've then got these, I love these Replicade, again, arcade cab replicas. I've currently got 4 of these. We've got Missile Command, Food Fight, which is a spectacular looking cab. And then we've got Dragon's Lair. It's such an iconic game with a brilliant attract screen. I just love just leaving it on for the attract screen alone. I mean, the game's impossible to play, but it's not really a game, is it? Let's be honest, it's just an interactive video. But it's such an iconic, you know, piece. I think it's amazing. And then I was chuffed. I finally got the cubic one I wanted. It did get reduced in a sale just before Christmas, so I jumped on it straight away because it was the one I wanted most of all. But they hadn't reduced it, so I'm chuffed to add that to the collection now. And then next to that, we've got the magnificent Vectrex. Such a stunning console, absolutely love it. And then next to that, we've got another 2 screens. We've got a TATE and a Yoko. Now these primarily are to connect the Astro City 2 and the Neo Geo Mini, and in the future when I get it, the other Astro City and the Egret, so I can use these 2 screens as larger screens rather than play the actual unit. As you can see at the moment, we've got the Astro City hooked up to the TATE screen playing Raiden. But like I say, when I get the others, they can play on the Yoko screen there. When I want to play them on the larger screen rather than the actual unit, like I say. And then also on this screen is where I use my Spectrum now. I've only recently moved it here actually, but it works really well. So again, coupled with the Spectrum collection up there, it's given my the spec kind of use a bit of a new lease of life, moving it here, and you know, really fine-tuning the games I want to keep. So I'm chuffed to bits with that. And then moving down, we've got another two small CRTs which are connected to various different things. We've got a Mega Drive 2 which is modded to be 60 Hz, play anything. So again, this is if I want to play anything that won't run on my Genesis, I'll use this Mega Drive here. And then also underneath there, as you can see, we've got my Amiga 600. I have been contemplating getting rid of the 600, to be honest, and getting an A500 Mini instead. I don't know, I'm still thinking about that, because I've not got that much nostalgia for the Amiga, and I think the Mini would do all I need it to, really. But I'm not, you know, I thought about getting rid of the 600 because I could, you know, generate a bit of cash, because the 500 is a lot cheaper, and I don't know, I'm still thinking about that. Then next to that, we've got my Laserdisc player, which again would be connected up to the CRT. I was massive into Laserdiscs in the 90s, and this is my original player. Not something I use very often now, but it's nice to have there, should I want to. And then underneath there, we've got my sort of AV Famicom, which is the reason I don't need to worry about getting the original Famicom fixed, because that works awesome. Great console, which I can use obviously to play all my Famicom carts. Then we've got my Super Famicom, which again, one of the greatest consoles ever made, and one of the best looking consoles ever made for me. And then we've also got an RGB modded white PC Engine with an EverDrive again, so that plays all the games. I don't collect Hue cards anymore, because you know the prices of some are crazy, and I'm happy with the EverDrive. And I don't particularly like the PC Engine boxes because there's no screenshots, there's no English on the spines, so I've given up collecting those. I just buy some CDs if possible. And like I say, that's kind of 8-bit area, with a bit of film as well. Now that I've put my Laserdisc there. Well, it's 16-bit as well, I suppose, because you've got the Amiga and the SNES. But anyway, it started off as 8-bit really. It's just developed. And like I say, I'm really liking my tabletop area as well. This is fairly recent, all my changes here. This has changed quite a lot in the past few 2 or 3 months. So I'm really pleased with how it's come together. I'll just try and have a pan around the room just before we finish. But let me know what you think in the comments. It'd be great to hear your thoughts. Please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the tour. I really enjoy doing these because it's like a diary for myself. Because each year I think to myself, well, there's nothing else I can do, or there's not really any changes I want to make now. And yet, you always end up doing something and tinkering. It's one of the amazing things about a game room, isn't it? Just messing with it. And, you know, changing things around. So, although I can't see what more I can do here, I'm sure it'll change. And I'll do another tour in another 12 months' time. And, you know, we'll see what does actually change. And hopefully at some point in the year, I'm also going to be doing a second tour of the arcade room when I've finished it. We'll just try and turn the lights off so we can see it lit up nicely. That's what I mean about these mini cabs with the lit up marquees. Oh, they look great. Oh, the battery's gone in food fight. It's gone off. But yeah, so hopefully at some point later in the year I'll get the second room tour up and running once it's finished. So it'll kind of be nice to have a record of both then. But anyway, thanks for watching, and see you all next year for next year's tour, all being well. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Sayonara.